Have you ever met someone who seemed ordinary at first? Quiet, almost forgettable. But the longer you watch them, the more you realized they were seeing things no one else noticed. They weren't the loudest person in the room. They didn't try to impress anyone. They didn't need attention. And yet, somehow, they always understood what was really going on. The truth is, some of the most intelligent people don't look like geniuses at all. They look like the person sitting silently in the corner. The coworker who rarely speaks, but always says exactly the right thing. The friend who notices patterns before everyone else. Because real genius is often hidden behind simplicity. Imagine a meeting at work. Everyone is talking over each other, trying to sound smart. Ideas are thrown around quickly. Some people dominate the conversation. Others nod along. In the middle of all this noise, one person stays quiet. They listen. They observe. They say almost nothing. At first they seem disengaged, but near the end they offer one calm sentence. And suddenly, everyone realizes they just solved the problem. This moment reveals something important. Highly intelligent people are often less interested in proving they're smart, and more interested in understanding what others miss. They don't rush to speak. They don't need constant validation. They prefer clarity over attention. This is because genius is not about showing off knowledge. It's about seeing hidden connections. Most people focus on what is obvious. Secret geniuses focus on what is beneath the surface. They notice contradictions. They detect subtle patterns. They ask questions others never think to ask. And because their minds are constantly processing, they often appear slower at first. But they're not slower. They're going deeper. This can be misunderstood. In a world that rewards speed, confidence, and loud opinions, quiet intelligence is easy to overlook. People often assume the smartest person is the one speaking the most. But speaking more does not mean thinking better. Sometimes the most brilliant mind is the one saying the least. Picture someone at a family gathering. While others tell stories and laugh loudly, this person watches. They notice tension between two relatives. They notice someone forcing a smile. They notice what is not being said. Without trying, they read the emotional landscape of the room. This ability comes from a powerful trait: deep observation. Secret geniuses tend to absorb enormous amounts of information. Not just facts, human behavior, body language, tone of voice, patterns over time. Their mind is always collecting clues. And eventually, those clues form insights that seem almost magical to others. People may wonder how they knew exactly what would happen. But it wasn't magic. It was pattern recognition. One of the strongest signs of hidden genius is curiosity. Not the kind that asks random questions for entertainment, but the kind that cannot stop digging. When they encounter something confusing, they don't move on quickly. They stay with the question. They examine it from multiple angles. They challenge assumptions. They search until the deeper truth begins to emerge. This is why secretly genius people often seem different. They don't accept simple answers. They are uncomfortable with shallow thinking. They instinctively look for what lies underneath. And that can make them feel isolated, because while others are satisfied with appearances, they are searching for meaning. Sometimes this starts in childhood. A person may spend years feeling misunderstood. Teachers might say they're distracted. Friends may think they overthink. Family members may not understand why they ask so many questions. But what looks like overthinking is often advanced thinking. Their mind is exploring possibilities others don't even see. The world may label them as quiet, strange, or too intense. But beneath that exterior is a brain connecting dots at extraordinary speed. And the most fascinating part? Many secretly genius people don't think they are exceptional at all. Because what feels remarkable to others feels normal to them. What seems like insight feels like common sense. What appears brilliant feels obvious. So they often underestimate themselves. And while the world searches for genius in loud achievements and visible success, true brilliance may be sitting quietly, unnoticed. Understanding more than anyone realizes there is another reason hidden genius is so hard to recognize. It often comes wrapped in self-doubt. People assume that highly intelligent individuals are always confident, that they know exactly how capable they are. But the opposite is often true. The more someone understands, the more they realize how much they still don't know. And that awareness creates humility. Imagine a person who solves complex problems with ease, yet hesitates before sharing their opinion. Not because they lack ideas, but because they have already considered dozens of possibilities, exceptions, and unintended consequences. While others speak with certainty, they are still weighing the deeper truth. This hesitation can look like insecurity, but in many cases, it is intellectual honesty. Secret geniuses are less interested in being right and more interested in being accurate. That difference changes everything. Most people seek conclusions. They seek understanding. Most people want quick answers. They want complete answers. This is why they may seem cautious, reserved, or unusually thoughtful. Their mind does not stop at the first explanation. It keeps exploring. Picture someone in a relationship. An argument happens over something small. One person reacts immediately. The other becomes quiet. At first, it appears they are emotionally distant, but internally, they are connecting the argument to months of subtle patterns. They notice recurring fears, unspoken expectations, hidden insecurities. They are trying to understand the real cause, not just the visible conflict. This depth of processing is one reason secretly genius people often feel mentally exhausted. Their brain is rarely idle. Even during ordinary moments, they are analyzing, not because they want to complicate life, but because their mind naturally searches for structure and meaning. This can make everyday conversations feel unsatisfying. Surface-level talk may feel empty. They crave ideas, depth, authenticity. They are drawn to people who ask unusual questions and think independently. And when they find those rare connections, they become deeply engaged. Another hidden sign of genius is the ability to be comfortable alone. Many people fear solitude because silence forces them to face their thoughts. But for secretly genius individuals, solitude is where their best thinking happens. Away from noise and expectations, their ideas begin to connect. A small observation turns into a powerful insight. A random question becomes a new perspective. What others experience as loneliness, they experience as mental freedom. Yet there is a quiet emotional cost. When someone sees patterns others overlook, they often predict outcomes long before anyone else. They may recognize a failing relationship before others admit it. They may sense a bad decision before the consequences appear. They may understand people who don't even understand themselves. And carrying that awareness can feel lonely. Not because they are superior, but because they live a few steps ahead of what is visible. Still, their greatest strength is not intelligence alone. It is perception, the ability to notice what is hidden, to question what seems obvious, to remain curious when others stop looking. So, if someone appears quiet, thoughtful, and unexpectedly insightful, don't underestimate them. They may be processing more than anyone can see. And if you've always felt like you think differently, like your mind notices patterns that others ignore, like solitude feels more natural than noise, there is a chance that what seemed like overthinking was actually a rare form of intelligence. Because true genius rarely announces itself. It listens, it observes, it questions, and when the moment comes, it reveals a level of understanding that changes the way everything makes sense. Some of the brightest minds in the world are not the ones demanding attention. They are the ones quietly seeing what everyone else missed. And perhaps the most powerful intelligence is the kind that doesn't need to prove it exists.